Little Fluffy. You can see him very briefly in the background, skulking away.
Oh yeah, I see him. I see him lurking.
Standing still.
Yeah, we'll go sit down eventually.
He can't be seen, but will be seen. Welcome to Yellow Concrete Podcast, guys.
Hey!
Yeah.
2022 edition.
Or is it the 2020 edition? -2.
2022. There's too many twos now.
I'm so confused. Yeah. What? 2022? 20...
That's the long running. It's the long running joke at the minute. It's like, oh, it's 2022, or is it 2020 part 2?
2020 part 2. Obviously, this is the first episode of the year, which means we have Martyn with us as he comes back for his yearly introduction to the world as my brother. For anybody,
yeah, I hibernate the other 364 days. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can only let you on every so often because just the amount of negativity you bring just brings everyone down. So we start off slightly negative and then we gradually increase throughout the year, predicting the failings of the world. Whereas Brett and Charlotte have been on before a couple of times as well.
Yay!
Yeah, I just said it.
Such a random just bombing up the libs. I mean, you guys haven't been on since 2020.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't come on last year because I had new guests all the way through the year.
That was the Through the Window podcast, wasn't it?
That was. Yeah.
Was, yeah.
That's a good podcast. That's a good episode. We did I feel like we did a quiz. We looked on a quiz of like relationship things or something.
Yeah, we did like relationship quiz.
Yeah. No, it worked. It worked. It kept us entertained, and we did it in a canny way of just through a window. I think it might have been the second to last one I did in person. Maybe. I think the only other one I did was with Charlotte Kessler, who's an artist, and I went to a studio, but because she lives fairly close by. But other than that, it's been Zoom. We've been Zooming for a year and a bit now. It's been a ride. We wanted to start this year off a little bit. So last year we said there was too much negativity in general, too many things we could complain about. And in 2019, we did a best and worst. And then when we came in and I did with Martyn the start of last year, we did things we were just like, we'll discuss nostalgic things. We'll discuss cartoons and things which are a bit lighter. Though we did get into like Barney and sex about sponges and stuff, which was a whole.
Oh yeah, that's why I'd listened to a podcast on SpongeBob. And was he gender neutral or I can't remember what he.
I've been asexual, I think.
Something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking about like Sharky and George and random cartoons that we remember that no one else remembers.
Yeah, we dove into it a little bit.
I don't know any of these.
You don't know? Wait.
Sharky and George.
Sharky and
George.
No.
Come on. That was on early mornings on Channel 4 about two crime fighters from under the sea.
They were like private detectives, weren't they?
A couple of wise guy private detectives. One was a shark and the other one was George.
I think it was like a clownfish or something.
I remember Street Sharks.
Street Sharks, yeah.
I think we briefly touched on Street Sharks and how sick Street Sharks was.
Yeah. And how it was a great show to bring you into the world of mutated sharks and then vastly disappeared. I feel like there was only one season of that. There can't have been more than that, but it made such an impression on everybody.
When I was a kid, seasons didn't really care about seasons.
They were not a thing, yeah.
Cartoons.
Which is the same 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers over and over again. It's not a problem.
Just hit that repeat and keep going. I mean, we do that now. You know, it's just now we do like 5 seasons and then you hit repeat on Netflix and you start again. You go.
Yeah, that was Seinfeld quite a lot.
But yeah, on that note, we kind of wanted to bring in this year with some kind of positive stuff, a little bit of grumbling if we could. But we wanted to kick it off. Martyn wanted to pick up with some things which we remembered through the year. But before we kind of dive into that, I couldn't remember anything from the year. I'm going to be honest.
You could like anything.
I can't tell you what I've done this year.
I'm concerned about that. Concerns me slightly.
I can tell you like work I've made. I've looked back through the work I've made, and that surprised me. But outside of that, I can't really tell you anything I've done, watched, or seen from 2021.
Well, bloody get thinking. You've got what an hour and a half of this
Well,
podcast to
What I
to
did
get
was
sorted.
I did a Google
Get
of
on
stuff which happened in 2021. So I was going to see how much you guys remember of just various world events
Okay, yeah.
and whether you kind of remember from those events. So I found there's an article on Mashable.
Oh, just a really reliable one, then, yeah.
Reputable thing.
Super
But I
relevant,
also figured we were going to get a good amount of like random meme stuff from Mashable, also
yeah.
mixed in with actual news, which was
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing, other thing, I had no idea, but there was a Ratatouille musical apparently on TikTok. But
I don't think I knew this.
I think I did know this, but I haven't watched it. I think I remember seeing something about it.
Yep. No, I don't.
Okay,
recall
yeah.
that at all. Yep. Of course. See, this is the thing. We go from memeable Ratatouille to the second one on the list, which is the insurrection of the Capitol in the US.
Yeah. I
yeah,
obviously remember that, obviously.
Had a
What
bit
God,
more.
this year? It feels like at least like 3 years ago.
January 6th, 2021.
Oh, Jesus.
Right at the start of the year. Yeah.
And he's still not in jail.
Yeah, I mean, we
Mental.
follow that up with point 3, which was Donald Trump was impeached again and then acquitted again.
Yeah, which we knew.
Yeah.
We were done by February. Like before Valentine's Day, that was all resolved. Like we were just, yep. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, of course, following that, you had the inauguration of Biden and Bernie Sanders' mittens.
Oh, Bernie Sanders
Oh yeah, the
mittens.
mittens.
Just that
You just look
gentle
cozy.
kind of very cozy.
We watched Big Fat Quiz of the Year and that came up. And,
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, just it was a question about like what fashion thing came from the inauguration, and I was like the mittens.
The mittens. Definitely the mittens. It's a strong look.
It is. I mean, to me, it's not even the mittens; it's the coat. It's like a real old man coat.
The woman, did you know the woman who made them for him? Her Etsy crashed because she had something. She had something like 18,000 orders. Once it became like a meme or something.
Jesus.
Yeah.
She can handle that. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Just crack them out in an evening. That's what Etsy's about, right? You definitely won't get strikes on Etsy for not being able to fulfill all those orders. I feel like at that point you just buy a bunch of mittens and then you just pass them off as your own.
Yeah.
You just go. So number 5 was Larry King, Rush Limbaugh, and Prince Philip all died.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other ones: Alex Trebek, Norm Macdonald, Steve Sondheim. Just a bunch of random deaths.
Did Betty White die on New Year's Eve or New Year's
Yep.
Day?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Clocked out before even getting to 2022.
She was like, "Nah, I'm done."
Done. Sack this off.
Enough of this nonsense. Daft Punk broke up.
Yeah, don't. Brett was sad about that.
I never got that into Daft Punk. I
All
don't know
right, aren't
why. He still seems sour about it.
Oh no, I wasn't really sad. I think I went like, oh, that's shit. Anyway.
Anyway.
I mean, yeah, they haven't put anything out in a while, had they? And it was just kind of like, where have you got left to go?
I think after all
Now-
the trauma of 2019 and 2020, I think everyone was like done caring about small things like that, you know?
Yeah.
Did you really want to come into 2022 with a new Daft Punk song? Did you want that to be the soundtrack to 2022? And I feel like they were just saying, you know what? No,
No, we're done.
it's a bit too positive, a bit too uplifting. We need a song which represents 2022. Like Boris Johnson's a fucking cunt, like on repeat.
Oh God.
I looked at the charts when obviously it was coming up to Christmas and everyone was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to get to number 1. I just looked at the charts. I was like, I don't know any of this.
Yeah. I didn't know any of
Like,
them.
It was just one of those where I was just like, what is any of this? Like, what is any of this? There was like 2 or 3 songs that I recognized, and that was about it.
We were watching Top of the Pops the other day, and there was a bunch of artists on it because it was like a recap of the like defining number 1s of like past decades or something. And it's like, yeah, I have no idea about music these days. No idea about music. Apart from like maybe Ed Sheeran, and that's just because I know his name. But I didn't even know he did rap music until like a year ago.
He has rap music?
He's like that's his thing. He's like acoustic and rap.
It's not really him rapping, is it?
I don't know, because I've never listened to Ed Sheeran. I just heard one track and I was like, Ed Sheeran's rapping. Why is he rapping? We're old. We're getting old. It's true.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, I think it's some sort of 20-year-old or something.
So I'm still down with the kids.
Just because I look like I'm 40 doesn't mean the beard adds
Oh.
10 years. Speaking of things which I don't get, game stonks and Dogecoin were a thing in 2021.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing.
Yeah, that was a whole thing of Reddit just crippling various markets of GameStop. And
It's just a stupid financial system, and it's rigged, stacked ways, isn't it? It's...
Definitely.
I liked that we made rich people poor for a while, though. That was fun.
Yeah, it makes me happy too.
Yeah. Just the gradual poke of like, oh, you've got a bank account. Well, we found a way to poke your bank account.
Lots.
Let's do that again. The Super Bowl came back, but the viewers didn't. It
No.
had the worst ratings of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Super Bowl. So.
Oh, yeah. It was just really average. I can't remember who even did the half. Oh, yeah. So
The Weekend,
it didn't have people. Nobody went because it was like all well, they had like limited viewership, and then The Weeknd basically footed the bill for him to do the halftime show, and then he was the meme for a while, you know, because he grabbed onto the camera and like ran around with the camera, and he became a meme for a while. But yeah, it was just a very average Super Bowl.
Wasn't it like produced by like Jordan Peele or something though?
I don't know. I can
feel
find
like
out.
that was like one of those facts of where it was meant to be good because there was something to do with Jordan Peele was involved with it, and everything he touches is gold dust. And then
it's
didn't
a
do
different thing. And the other thing was, it was so Tom Brady won with Tampa Bay, and Tom Brady
Right.
just wins Super Bowls, so it was kind of a done deal that it was just going to win.
Well.
So yeah,
That's
bit
what Tom
average.
Brady does. Elon Musk superseded Jeff Bezos as the richest man alive.
Probably
I
for
had-
like 20 minutes or something.
And then, yeah, like someone bought some more crap off Amazon, and then Jeff Bezos just bumped up a little bit more. And then Elon Musk said something defamatory about Tesla, and his stock shot up again.
I don't care a lot for rich people, but Elon Musk is probably the one I care least about.
I will say, when I was thinking of things to dislike about this year, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk were at the top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Jeff. I don't like Jeff either, but Elon, I don't like Elon more.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever read into the actual history of how he came to his money and all this kind of stuff, and how like he ousted the original founders of PayPal, and basically he's never actually really started a company. He's just kind of like taken over other companies that other people have already started, and then just gone, I've got money. Oh, it's mine now.
Yep.
Yeah, he just seems like a shady wanker, and I just don't really like him very much.
They're just both absolute nerds with no social skills and a god complex.
Oh, speaking of nerds and no social skills, the amount of memes about Mark Zuckerberg this year, they have excelled. Like,
really?
Yeah, there's been loads of memes about him not being able to, because he released a bunch of stuff that made him just seem even more like he was actually a robot.
Wait, more than like
Maybe-
maybe like the cooking meats video.
There was one where he had to put, like, I can't remember exactly the context of it, but there was loads of memes about it. That's probably why I can't remember the actual context, because I only saw it in memes. Where he had to put on, like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go put on this outfit, and then he like walked, he like did a fucking Theresa May like walked into the room and was like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this, and it was just like, who are you? Like, yeah, you're acting so unhuman right now. It's unreal. I'll see if I can find it.
See if we can find it. Figure it out. I mean, speaking of nerds, Snyder Cut came out this year.
Yeah, we
was
still haven't
massive.
got through it.
I've not watched it. I'm not even going to try and watch it.
I'm not even trying to watch it.
It changes the context of the film quite a lot.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, like it's completely different in the storyline.
Does it still include mustache, or is that now fully CG'd out? Like,
Mustache.
well, they removed the mustache from Justice League, right?
What mustache?
So Superman had a mustache.
Oh, there we go. We're missing the character. That's what we were going for.
I thought it was like, I thought that was the main meme. Was just like they had that whoever played Superman. And I'm not going to say his name because I'll get it wrong. And then he
Henry Cavill.
There you go.
So yeah, it's Henry Cavill, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had this discussion of how I don't recognize who tall white men are compared to other tall white men. And then he had a mustache, and they CG'd out, and everyone was pissed off because they was like, it looked shit. And I was like, I can't even tell there was a mustache.
I don't know. I've not actually heard this.
Really? I
Yeah,
thought it was like one
no.
of the main things. Yeah, people, because he had a mustache for something else, like
No.
another film, and then they CG'd it out rather than just
So,
shaving
does
it off.
anyone mind me ruining spoilers? I guess.
It's been out
if
for
you-
a year.
And I'm
Yeah.
not going to watch it.
So, in the normal cut, Steppenwolf is the main bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. In the Snyder cut, he doesn't look anything like him for one.
Yeah.
Then they've changed the way he looks completely, and he isn't like. He is the main bad guy, but he isn't the main bad guy. There's like another guy above him who's the main bad guy.
Is it Darkseid?
Yeah, is it Darkseid, Brett? You
Yeah.
said you knew who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they do a bunch of like lore about Darkseid without really explaining it very well. It's just
Yeah.
really random.
Yeah, I think the problem was what they wanted to do was they wanted to do like a Thanos, because Darkseid is Thanos for DC.
Right.
He's like their big guy, turns up, has like one goal, which is to find like the end equation, as it's called, or something like that. And he's always like behind everything. There's always like something's happening, and it's like, oh well, Darkseid might be involved. And they wanted to do that, and then they fucked it up because they made Justice League the way they did. And then
Well, the Justice League, the problem was, the thing I have with it is that we haven't got all the way fucking through it because it's 4 hours long. But the original Justice League was fine.
it was all right.
Gave
Yeah.
you everything you needed to know about Justice League.
Yeah.
Like, so when I was watching the cut and there was like this other guy, I'm like, now you just made it really fucking confusing. Because they took like, how many films did they take to introduce Thanos? What, like 3? He was like
Yeah.
mentioned throughout like 3 movies before
Yeah.
they actually even saw him. Whereas
Yeah.
this one is like, oh, so we've got all of these people together and now there's this really big bad guy. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
There's a problem with DC though. They just keep doing Batman, Superman, and the same storylines, and it's like, then they're like, oh wait, Marvel have done this big thing. Let's just try and do it, and then all the films either fall flat, or like you say, is Justice League, which is it's 4 people, and oh yeah, there's this big bad guy who you gotta know is bad because we told you at the beginning that he is a bad person.
He is a bad guy.
They should stick to
Oh.
standalone.
Anyway, sorry,
He-
we got really into talking about Justice League. So
Question: Is Steppenwolf a wolf?
no.
But why is he
Bad,
called
right?
Steppenwolf?
It's like a Nordic name or
Well,
something.
yeah, right. So I googled this just a second ago because
Did
I
you
was
just
like,
get
was
a
it-
lot of pictures of wolves? Was that?
well, no, like there's a band from the '60s called Steppenwolf,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like, oh, well, why is this Justice League character also called Steppenwolf? I wonder what a Steppenwolf was. Maybe it's like a Nordic god or something like that. And then I was like, well, no, actually, it's just a steppe wolf, which is a Caspian sea wolf, generally found in Germany and Kazakhstan and Romania and Hungary and that kind of places. And it's like, okay, that is all the information I can find.
Yeah, I can't quite remember how. Like, it's because it's part of that whole like Wonder Woman, Greek gods overlap as well. Because it's to do
Which
with
isn't
apocalypse.
which isn't explained.
Yeah, and there's like Apocalypse, which is like the planet of Darkseid, and yeah, there's like a whole bunch of layering. They didn't need to do much more to bring it up to what it actually needed to be. Is essentially what we're getting to. But Steppenwolf was essentially just a big fighter, like some god of war situation.
Just fights man's done he?
I know, right? I mean, we'll move on from Justice League. The Suez Canal got blocked.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
It was a classic, absolute classic.
I mean, Joe Biden's dog bit a bunch of people.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
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 Not the dog's fault, is it?
No, he was the first rescue dog in the White House, which is more important news. You piece of shit.
Why are you having to go with me? I'm just reading for a fucking.
Well, he was the first rescue dog to ever go into the White House, and then yeah,
Right.
there's obviously loads of people in the White House which freaked him out.
That's the way it goes. The US government also announced that the UFO task force exists. They just basically confirmed that they're actually looking at UFOs,
Nice.
which doesn't really mean anything because a UFO is just something which is unknown in the sky. So
Yeah.
could be anything.
Could be
Uh,
anything.
They turned off Yahoo Answers.
Oh, crying.
Shame.
You've
Brett,
noticed
were
surprising
you
amount. of
using
these.
Yahoo Answers, Brett?
No.
When Brett's ever confused about something in life, he just goes on Yahoo Answers and asks the question. What? He's already asked what is a Steppenwolf. He's already way ahead of us.
But
You got what's that other one? Quora. didn't that take over that as like a thing?
Quora.
Quora. Quora. I think that's the one that's like took over as like a replacement. But it's
Right.
got a really annoying thing with it where you look at it and you go, "Oh, here's the answer to my question. I have to sign up." And he's like, "I'm not signing up. I'm not giving you my details. Go away."
I do that with Pinterest all the time. It's like, oh, I want some images. Go over to Pinterest. You got to sign. I'm like, guess I'm not getting that image. Like, never. I mean, there was also a thing called Clubhouse, which apparently was about to hit off and then never took off. No idea. Never heard of
Well,
that.
no, because Twitter Spaces came along instead.
Ah.
So Clubhouse was an audio-only social network, and the idea was that one of us could host a clubhouse, and then the other three could come into the clubhouse, and you can then elect speakers within the clubhouse. So if you had 30 people in the room and there was 3 people up on the stage doing a talk and chatting shit, then people could put their hand up and go, "Can I join in?" And you go, "Oh yeah, Steve, who works at Coca-Cola, come on up." And then whatever, you know what I mean? Like it became
a TED talk with extra steps.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. And like, but it became like a real like crypto bro space and a really kind of like hustle and grind attitude LinkedIn bro space. It was just like, ugh. But then Twitter just went, "Hold on, we'll just do this as well." So Twitter Spaces came along, and everyone was like, "Well, I don't need Clubhouse anymore because I'm already on Twitter and I've actually got followers there." So
Yeah. Don't need to
Zing.
move across.
It also sounds like Discord, but for not nerds.
I don't know. I'd say crypto guys are nerds. Just nerds in a different way.
I mean, Discord's obviously a bit more. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I fucking hate using it. It's a bit more text-based, and then you dip in with the audio when you feel like it, kind of like.
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
you're fucking wrong about not liking using Discord because Discord's elite.
That's been the age of technological communication change, though. I mean, speaking of Twitter, some guy found some shrimp tails in his toast crunch and then basically got outed as like, serial manipulator. That was the whole thing.
Didn't know about this. What is this?
So I saw bits of this. Essentially, he was saying that he found some shrimp tails in his cinnamon toast crunch.
Okay.
And he was putting on Twitter like, "Oh, look what I found," and then trying.
Is that like Curiously Cinnamon for normie British people?
Yeah,
like
very
cinnamon
similar.
grahams, I guess.
Yeah, cinnamon grahams. Yeah.
Yeah. Which are terrible because they contain cinnamon. But yeah, so there was like a whole thing, and he got like
Whoa.
back.
Whoa.
I was gonna say, why are we just skimming over that?
Because
Rewind.
golden grahams exist, and they are clearly superior.
No,
cinnamon
grahams.
is great.
No.
Cinnamon is great.
Cinnamon is superior.
Yeah, cinnamon.
I'm gonna send you the Seinfeld clip of Jerry talking about cinnamon, and then you'll be like, "Okay, cinnamon."
I mean, I've already seen it, but either way. So he got a back and forth going with whichever company runs Cinnamon Toast Crunch on Twitter, and then what happened was, because he got internet famous, all his worms from the woodwork came out, and people were just like, "Yeah, so this guy basically just like screwed me over in our relationship," and then like a bunch of other women came out. It was like, "Yeah, he's basically like a really manipulative person," and yeah, it all went downhill very quick with it.
Didn't that happen with some guy who like piped up in a political debate ages ago on like British TV? He was like in the audience or something. He asked a really like good question to one of our dipshit leaders, and then didn't it like come out afterwards like, oh yeah, turns out he's a pedo or something.
Yeah, I think that's happened a few times.
I don't know, sounds like us.
It sounds like something Britain would do.
Classic.
This guy cured cancer. Yeah, but
Yeah, he's a fucking nonce, isn't he?
yeah.
Fucking nuts. Oh god.
It's like that. What was that? The NASA thing that they did some. I can't. It's probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. They did like it was on NASA, and they'd done something. I'd say NASA, like I know which space organization it was. But they were like all celebrating, and some guy gave the interview to be like, "Oh yeah, we did really well, blah blah," and he's wearing a hentai shirt with loads of kind of like bound and gagged.
I remember that. Yeah,
it wasn't even that. It was the NASA guys who landed a fucking like drone on a moving comet.
Yeah,
and the guy wore a shirt with like like pin-ups kind of tattoo kind of style art, and people were like, "Oh, he's such a sexist because he's wearing things," and basically overshadowed like one of the greatest achievements not only in his life but also in like, you know, NASA being able to land something like the size of a bin
I'm gonna
on a
find.
fucking
This,
rock
I'm gonna see if I can
traveling
find
like
this shirt.
thousands of miles an hour, and all I can care about was like, oh, but he's got women on his shirt. Wah.
Have you never landed anything on a comic, Brett?
Oh, man, I'm not a fucking nerd.
We've been doing that since like the
Oh,
90s.
that's
It
not
films
even
it to believe.
that bad. That is not even that bad.
I can't remember what was on the shirt. Hold on. NASA guy shirt.
I remember it not being completely shocking, but then at the same time was like, it does kind of take away from the importance of this event.
It does exactly.
If you knew you were going to be on TV.
If you're going to go to a very sleazy casino, I imagine that'd be what you would wear.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're like a divorced dad in Hawaii hitting on some like 12-year-old at a buffet. Like that kind of shit. I'd be like, yeah, all right. But when you're part of NASA and you're like, I'm going to go on national TV and talk about this momentous thing we did, it's like, this is the shit. This is the shit we did.
Oh yeah, there's definitely better shirts, but also there's definitely something much more important than, oh my god, this guy's got like babes wearing leather on his shirt. I'm therefore gonna just like send him death threats and get him to like just fucking.
It's the internet. We focused on the micro things, right? One mistake on video and you're out of the game. Rolling punches. Speaking of NASA's, but they also landed the Mars rover again. They did like some stuff with it, put it back
Done
up
it once.
Yep, landed it again.
Did it once? Did it again?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nailed it. Average Tuesday. Not a problem.
I was like, I got the perfect shirt for this. Just reloaded. We went back to theaters with Godzilla versus Kong.
You say theaters, like you mean cinemas?
Cinemas, theaters, as it says in here. Yeah.
We're not American.
Movie theaters. But Godzilla versus Kong came out, and that was like a thing. Apparently, it was like the main thing.
Because again, the thing is, things that are things these days are things because they become memes. And there was so many Godzilla versus Kong memes.
It was. It also had the benefit of being one of the first cinema films post lockdown. So everyone was just like, yeah, we want to go to the cinema for something.
Whatever happened with Tenet?
Tenet, it did really bad. Came out, did really bad.
Hard.
Yeah, because I remember him like, it wasn't Nolan like freaking out about it, going, "Oh, it's all these nerds and their Netflixes. They don't want real films." Like, didn't he have some sort of like fragile white, fragile man, fragile ego, fragile rant about the whole thing? I don't
know. I like how fragile he was about it, though.
He seemed very fragile about it.
If I go on that description, yeah, from what I remember, Tenet came out, and it bombed, as Brett said. And yeah, Christopher Nolan had a bit of a breakdown. Same with the guy who made Alien or something else, and something he basically just came out and was like, "No, people don't want proper films because of all the streaming series." And then it was basically like, "Well, or is your film bad?"
And was it the June guy?
Yeah, June guy. Yeah, June guy.
I don't think it was June guy. I think you're thinking of Ridley Scott.
It could have been Ridley Scott. June guy did have a breakdown as well, though, because he had to go at other people for remaking things.
Yeah, which is ironic considering he remade a film from the 80s.
Yeah, he was
based
like,
on a book.
It needed to be there.
Oh, it doesn't matter if it needs to be. It's a bit. It's like me making jam and being like, people who eat jam are fucking mental.
Yeah, there is that.
Title of this podcast.
Fucking jam eaters.
Fucking jam eaters. Kevin,
just a quick one. Brett loves jam.
Oh yeah, I fucking love jam.
And you were just moaning about getting so much jam for Christmas.
No, I was moaning about that. I don't love jam.
We didn't got so much jam. It's a lot of food.
What makes this weird? I didn't used to eat jam sandwiches when I was a kid.
That is weird.
That is pretty weird.
How else are you going to eat your crisps?
What?
You put your crisps in your jam sandwich and then eat your jam sandwich.
I think I'm going to leave this call. Get the fuck out of here.
Cheese and onion ones as well.
Exactly.
Oh!
You get the squares. You know, like the retro
Shut now,
squares.
let's move on. What else happened?
Kim and Kanye announced their divorce.
Oh, yeah.
And it lined up with the last season of the Kardashians, apparently.
Kanye continues to have a wonderful breakdown throughout the rest of the year. Not understand cancel culture at all. Not understand why we shouldn't support rapists. You know, a whole thing.
It's been a journey, hasn't it?
He wants to buy the whole earth or something in Kanye this year.
That's very Kanye thing to do.
It sounds like something that could happen. Yeah. come out of his mouth. Obviously, we had the vaccine rollout, which was going well. Johnson and Johnson vaccine was approved, then halted, and then brought back. That was a whole thing for a
Nice.
little while.
Yeah.
Like Futurama.
Yep. Yeah. The Conservatives dragged Dr. Zeus and Mr. Potato Head into cancel culture wars. I don't know what Dr. Zeus did. I remember the Mr. Potato Head one.
Yeah.
Because that was so blown out of proportion, it was unreal.
I don't know what the Dr. Zeus one was though.
Let me find out because I love Dr. Zeus.
Yeah, there was
I think the Dr. Zeus one was like there was a couple of old books where there was some kind of slightly borderline stereotypes used for something. And
there is a couple of things in the past of Zeus which are like, yeah, sign of the times. Like
I must say, but like a lot of stuff from those times, it's a product of the time.
Okay,
Like,
some
doesn't
aspects
age
of
good.
Zeus's work have not aged well, including his debut, which features a crude racial stereotype of an Asian man.
I think it was one of those. Obviously, the Mr. Potato Head one was literally they brought out a neutral Mr. Potato Head without cancelling the original Mr. Potato Head. So it was just another version of Mr. Potato Head, and people threw a
Yeah, but
fit
that's
about
not
it.
that's not what people jumped on. People jumped on they're getting rid of Mr. Potato Head in favor of this other things. Like, no, they're just bringing it out as well as.
In addition to.
Yeah, they all just jumped down everyone's throats. Gender neutral, Mr. Potato. This is kind of you're just like, no. Read past the headline. The inflammatory headline that's designed to make you this angry.
It's so weird how like the Tories are just so like woke culture is ruining our nation. It's like, oh no, how dare we become more tolerant?
Yeah.
Fuck.
How dare we give people a bunch of rights and give them representation in media and anything.
I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds disgusting.
I love it to just be like Parliament do that.
I mean, they literally do. That's pretty much
pretty
it,
much
right?
pretty much what they do.
You just hear a squeal from the back corner. It was just MP Charlotte Greenley just like squealing.
Just fucking little Pepe. Oh, little Pepe face.
Oh, we lost Martin's face.
Oh, did I read too loud?
You read too loud.
Yeah, Max just doing a little loading thing.
Mine, are you cancelling me? Are you cancelling me?
Yeah, sorry, I had to come off video because you're cancelled now. That's it.
All right, last couple of ones before we move on to personal things. The 2020 Olympics happened in 2021.
Of course it did. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Classic.
It was meant to happen. It obviously didn't happen because of COVID, so they put it in July 2021. They did that.
That was it. They still call it the 2020 Olympics.
Yeah,
So
2020
the World Cup was still called the 2020, or the Euro. I can't remember which one it was.
Some
Football.
football nonsense.
Go on, go, Karen, go.
No, go ahead.
As I say, the best thing about the 2021 Olympics was the advert that Channel 4 did for the Paralympics, which is about if you get a chance to watch it, it's like so
Pretty
on the
sure
nose.
I saw it, but yeah.
It's so like basically they're just like essentially like be more tolerant of people who are who've got like issues and stuff, because they go through like all this stuff, and it was all about not being special, like superhuman. It was about just being human, because everyone was like, oh, you're so super for doing Paralympics. And then it's actually like we're just doing the same thing that other sports people are doing. We're just disabled. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Good messages.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
messages.
Yeah, I think I did see it. It was good.
Yeah.
Just looking at a couple of bits of it now, and it's like, yeah, it was good.
I mean, the last things seem kind of minor. Like R. Kelly went to prison.
Yeah, because he's a disgusting human being.
Yeah. Joe Rogan got COVID, which is just funny. And then, yeah, there's the whole Prince Andrew stuff, which obviously started kicking off properly in 2021.
Again, ginormous cunt.
Yeah, because
the fact that nothing's come of that so far is just. I mean, this is the thing with that Gillane.
Oh, yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Maxwell.
Sex trafficker.
Yeah.
Maxwell. Like, obviously she needs to be punished for her role in what is a disgusting operation, and the crimes that she has committed. But it's just that little black book of all those customers. Like, when the fuck does that come out? Because I bet it fucking doesn't. Bet it doesn't. bet it doesn't come out, and I bet there's too many powerful people in too many powerful places that will make sure that some way there's some sort of super injunction where that gets sealed up and none of those names ever come out, and it's just kind of like brilliant. Oh right, so you punish the one person you could actually just kind of punish, but then everyone else just kind of gets away with it for free.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I think there was a thing I was reading of just like people taking bets of how long it is before she commits suicide, with large quotes.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Just so everyone knows.
Facts. Should have, but didn't. But on that point, we'll bring us around to some nice, more positive things. Apart from the huge people coming into our society and ruining things, I want to pick your brains, Martyn. What did you enjoy about 2021?
Well, I've got 3 good things, and then I've got one bad thing.
All right. Was any of the bad things on the list of things I just read?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's surprising.
Do you want me to do all of them, or do you want me to should we go around one at a time?
Let's see how we go. Give us the first one. Let's see how much we pad out with that.
Okay, so I focus mine on stuff that I've just done or played or watched or whatever. Psychonauts 2.
Oh, I haven't played it yet, but I hear it's really good. No spoilers.
It is so good as a game. It is my game of the year. Like, if I can recommend a video game to anyone to play this year, if you like platforming games, platforming adventures, and that is your vibe, if you're just a tactical shooter kind of person, you won't enjoy it. But it is incredibly good as a game. Very polished, excellent writing, incredible story. But the power of the game is how well it understands mental health and things like grief and like social anxiety, and it uses that as I don't want to say a teaching tool, but almost like it's like an awareness thing. And obviously, but and these guys have spoken about it before, but I have panic disorder and suffer with anxiety quite badly, and have done. It's getting a lot better these days, but there is a couple of levels where you're dealing with panic disorder as a kind of creature that you fight, and anxiety as creatures that you fight, and the way that was portrayed just spoke really kind of well to me. I was playing this level going, oh yeah, this is exactly how I feel when I have a panic attack. Oh yeah, this is the kind of thing I do feel when I'm kind of working through a level and these things are popping out at me randomly and I don't know what to do. And it's yeah. So I can heavily, if you like platforming games and platform adventure games, you should play Psychonauts 2. It is an achievement of a title.
I feel like that's become a thing in games, of mental health being plot points. Because what's that? Is it like Hellblade or Hell something?
Yeah.
Senua Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Hellblade.
That was a whole thing of just it's become a thing, not necessarily a trend or something which is bad or anything like that. But it does seem now that we've moved past story plot points of oh, here's a giant mountain, go do the mountain, to more character.
What games have you been playing?
Yeah.
Journey.
Journey. Journey's just about getting around.
Journey, Brett, my favorite game of all time.
I think we've rescued enough princesses from castles at this point that we might as well just start talking about real things. And yeah, I think he does it very, very well.
Yeah. All right. No arguments around that side.
And I would heavily recommend everyone play it because it is very good. Again, if you like platforming games and or adventure games.
I did just Google it and realized that I'd been picturing the wrong game for the entire time you've told me about it, because you've told me about it before.
Yeah, what were you picturing?
So I had the image in my head of the Kerbal Space Program game.
Right.
And I don't know, I was just in my head, I was like, that's Psychonauts, right? It's definitely not Psychonauts. That's a completely different.
No. You got Game Pass, go get on your damn thing and play it.
I will do eventually. It might help me understand things, but I don't know. We'll get to it potentially.
There's some really good levels in there, because you're going into people's minds throughout, so each one kind of has a different kind of setting, and you're trying to find spoilers, it's a year-old anyway, but you're trying to find the original Psychonauts and bring them back together to fight Caligula, and each one that you go to has a different kind of affliction that you have to kind of work through. And there's one dealing with grief, and there's one dealing with social issues. There's all these different bits. My favorite level is the Jack Black kind of musical level. You go and try and get this guy back who's away with his band, playing with his band, but the whole thing is kind of like sung and written by Jack Black, and it's like just in terms of visually, that's incredible
Who
as
is
a level.
Jack Black? If you don't follow him on Instagram, is the purest man alive, and you should follow him on Instagram. If you have Instagram.
Purest man alive. Purest man alive.
Purest man alive. Purest man alive.
I think Paul Rudd is the purest man alive, and
yeah, but do you know what? I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something horrible right now. At least Jack Black embraces his body for the way that it is and doesn't get a bunch of plastic surgery.
Paul Rudd's had plastic surgery.
I don't know. Paul Rudd's had plastic surgery.
He's had plastic surgery.
How do you say obviously?
He doesn't just remain that young. How old is Paul Rudd?
I don't know.
Was it 47, 48, I'd imagine?
People do just like some people just don't age. That's
He's
just a thing.
52.
He looks 52.
He doesn't look 52. He just got voted the sexiest man of the year. And every time he gets asked about whether he's had plastic surgery, he gets really defensive and won't answer the question.
Oh, I see.
He said he's got great bone structure and a great skincare regime rather than plastic surgery. So
I can tell. I can tell.
Whereas Jack Black embraces the belly, the beard, the grey hair, loves his life.
Is the second thing on your list Jack Black, man?
It's not.
What is the second thing on your list?
It's Paul Rudd. It's obviously Paul Rudd. The second thing on my list is June, because going back
the
to
film June.
The film June.
Okay, I thought you meant June.
Month of June.
I was just like,
The month of June. Sick month. Sick month. Dune, the film. Again, going back to cinema was quite nice. It was the first thing I saw at the cinema since cinemas had been back. I never connected with the story originally because I never read the book or anything. I'd always heard about it being this epic that would be hard to film. Obviously, I've seen parodies of different moments from it throughout the years, whether it be Family Guy or The Simpsons or whatever. It kind of dips in on those things. I never saw the original 80s film. I don't know, just looked crap and got bad reviews, so I never watched it. But Ollie and Liam and Kieran really wanted to go see it, so I was like, come with. It's a stunning visual masterpiece of a film. Like, it has obviously because it's a two-parter, my one criticism with it is like the end wraps up too slowly but then too quickly. Right. It kind of like they're dragging it out. Oh no, it's the end now, and it's the next one. But yeah, like incredible visually, it's just fucking incredible as a film. Like, and it's one of those moments where you're kind of looking at it going, I can't see flaws in this. Like, you watch CGI in the 90s or the early 2000s, and you go, this could be better. Yeah, I was watching.
I know a flaw in the film. Timothy Chalamet is a total dick.
You just hate Timothy Chalamet.
I do, yeah. I do. I absolutely do, yeah. He's one of those irrational people. He's probably pure as hell, but...
we had this issue when we did Little Women, and you were just ripping on Timothy Chalamet. It's like, what's he doing?
He's just a twat. He's just a twat, and I hate him.
Ote?
I haven't seen the new Dune. I watched the old Dune recently, though. And I think it's all right. I think it holds up. Like, it's very, very 80s and like dated, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's good. It's trippy and dystopian, and that's what I liked about it. And
David Lynch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's David Lynch, and that's what I liked about it. It's like there's disjointed parts. There's parts which she's just like, I don't even know why you're doing this, but I appreciate the fact you are.
What else has David Lynch done?
Eraserhead.
Film that's ever depressed you?
Twin Peaks.
Not seen that.
He's done a lot of things.
I'll have a look and see if anything I've seen.
I get the feeling you'd never have seen them, Charlotte.
Is it because I just love
based on the
movies?
film? Well, but also based on like the films I've mentioned to you in the past, and you've been like, I've never seen that. Like, David Lynch would be one where you probably
might have seen Mulholland Drive. That's one of his most famous ones.
No.
Twin Peaks is his most famous like TV stuff.
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive I would say, is probably his most famous film. Elephant Man's famous.
Let me have a look.
I'd say Eraserhead.
Eraserhead, yeah, maybe, but
Eraserhead's the most parodied, I think. But I mean, if we're going off what Charlotte might know, which is memes, then
Just love memes.
Just memes.
Just love memes. makes it sound really basic. I'm not really basic.
I don't know. Let's judge your list.
I
Charlotte, what,
love memes.
2021, what do you remember from 2021? What did you enjoy?
Yeah, I've got like one more left.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
was
got
gonna
one
say,
more? I
mine's
thought you
not
only had
done.
your negative one thing left.
No, let Charlotte dip in
No,
for a bit.
no,
No.
no. Well,
No,
mine,
go
actually,
for
to be fair, mine goes off the back of your first one, really. People not conforming.
The first
That was
one's
one of my
Psychonauts,
favorite.
right?
Yeah, off the like mental health thing.
Okay.
Kind of like, so I think people just said fuck off to a lot of people in 2021, but in like a positive way.
Mhm.
So like,
Great
it's really hard.
resignation.
Yeah, like it's really hard to explain because it's a lot of like random small events, and obviously there's obviously lots of negatives to not conforming, like people not wanting to get the vaccine and stuff, which obviously isn't very good and whatever. But like people voting out people that they don't like, you know, governments changing hands finally after like 16 years in some people's cases,
Mhm.
and yeah, and people like kind of actually mixing things up a little bit with regards to like, do you know what, I'm going to try this or I'm going to try that or I'm going to do this differently or I'm going to do that differently. Yeah, I just think people started finally realizing that they can fight for what they believe in. They can do a bit of like, they don't have to kind of, they can get into new hobbies that aren't necessarily like the amount of new hobbies that I know people, my friends have started doing, things like people like who are quite like princessy girls who are like crocheting and knitting, which wouldn't obviously be a traditional thing they would do. Crafting, people like doing way more exercise because they've been like, oh, you know, I can't be in the house anymore. People who previously would have been like, exercise is for losers, and they've actually started doing like exercise and going outside a bit more. I just think people not conforming, and other thing on top of that that goes kind of with that is people actually understanding that people have mental health problems. Like 2021 was the first time my mum was like, I understand like why young people have mental health problems now.
There's a
Like-
bag of shit out in the world.
Yeah, but like she's like, finally after all these years of like, she was like, I understand now like what it's like for people, you know, and what it's going to be like for this generation. And I think on top of that, it's because she has two grandchildren now who basically have grown up in coronavirus time. So like
Yeah.
they don't understand things certain, like when they went back to nursery, there was huge anxiety for like small children and stuff going back to nursery who like had seen kids for like 3 months and then not seen kids for like 2 years. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot about people this year, you know, not conforming, understanding other people better, that overshadows a lot of the I'm not getting vaccinated and I love Tories, like that shit.
Yeah, I think
the
that
sticker, right?
But yeah,
like, there has been. I think it has been a nice for the first time in a while. It felt like a balance.
Yeah.
Like it's felt like a kind of I mean, 2020 was doom and gloom all over the place, and I think coming out of that from the August September when we started to unlock properly and before we relocked and whatever, I think there was a lot of people going, yeah, something's got to change here. Something's got to give.
You know, I think there was a lot of news about people going back to clubs and spreading COVID and stuff, but actually a lot of young people for the first time ever didn't go back to clubbing and nights out and things, and they wanted to do more like hanging out with friends like outside or doing things in people's homes and like actually being a bit more social in that way. And I know obviously that's not great for some industries. Sorry, Martyn.
Just about to say, yeah, fuck the hospitality industry.
I'm not saying fuck the hospitality industry, but like it's like obviously people's like views of the world and the way things have been are changing.
Change of pace.
Yeah,
we've seen people just be a bit more selective with these things, and I think that's it. There's still a market for it. And the other side of it is there's a lot of people who went into lockdown when they were 16, and they're coming out of lockdown at 18 and get to go experience a club for the first time. And there is swings and roundabouts. And I think people have just been a little bit more selective with the things they can do and when they want to do them. And I know, like from this December, when December 15th hit, and we saw a lot of rises in the Omicron cases. We had a lot of people cancelling their bookings, like self-managing themselves, going, well, I am in 14 days of Christmas, 10 days of Christmas at this point. So if I do get it now, that means I miss Christmas Day. And there's a lot of people who would like taking a responsibility and self-managing their own kind of responsibility a little bit, instead of wandering around with a blindfold on and going, oh, it's someone else's fault because the government didn't lock us down. Like, which was a nice. I mean, it sucks because it meant our Decembers were a lot lower than intended, but
it's like, my mum said this. It's like, when you have a forest fire and then everyone goes, oh my god, that's so devastating, but then the year after everything grows back brand new because they've had the forest has had time to breathe and like go right, I'm going to come back growing and I'm going to come back strong. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, and I'm sorry for anyone listening, but a lot of people, older generation, passed away because of COVID. A lot of people in the older generation have kind of shut themselves inside because of COVID, which has allowed the younger generation to kind of come forward and be like, this is what we want the world to be like now. We don't want it to be like this. We want it to be like this.
I mean, like, a lot of people will blame young people for the Great Resignation of like, oh, they just don't want to work and blah blah blah. It's like, no, like, I mean, on the other side of it, a lot of people have retired. Like on the flip side of it, like, you've got people in their kind of late 50s, early 60s who've gone, I was going to retire in 5 years, but I might as well do it now because that was kind of relaxing and that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So like all over the board, it's just like a huge shift in attitude, in good ways and bad ways. Because my negative one is not to this off this beaten track, but yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's definitely a good thing.
So I think, Shall, do you have any more on your positive list?
Yeah, indie games.
Just indie games.
Well, no, if you look at like the list of indie games, and this again goes kind of on the Psychonauts thing, especially a lot of them are very mental healthy or have like mental health links and stuff. There's just been so many great. I mean, when you shut nerds inside and go, here's Unity, off you go. A bunch of new like indie games have come out.
Well, speaking of, where's Brett's debut indie game? Because come on,
what time aside?
we moved house in 2021, which is my last one, which is obviously very positive. But yeah, so like indie games, you got things like a game called Sable, which is amazing. Brett's played lots of that. That's been an amazing indie game that came out this year. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which won a bunch of stuff at the
which didn't look like an indie game.
Which didn't look like just didn't look like an indie game.
That was so impressive for what it was.
There's so many good games on this list. Ones I've played. Oh, God.
We did Unpacking, didn't we? That's a great game.
Unpacking, which is just literally about unpacking boxes, but it's so mindful. There's loads and loads of stuff that came out. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion was one that people, I don't think, expected to get loads, and then just came out of nowhere and everyone loved it. There's loads of really good stuff, and actually it's just really creative, and it's something I really liked is that because it wasn't just video games, there was lots of new types of anime this year that were released. One that me and Brett have been watching is something called Comey Can't Communicate, which is about a girl who suffers with severe social anxiety, which again is just seeing more media that's angled towards people that maybe don't cope so well with life is just really refreshing.
It's representation, and it's always a good thing. It's always
absolutely.
A good thing.
Fucking woke culture.
Oh yeah, and the last one was
They're trying to get me cancelled.
The last one was me and Brett moved house this year, which was amazing because we've like got a new change of pace, and it's been really good and positive for us as a personal one. Nice.
Man, what's your third one before we move on to Brett?
Oh, so my third one was just. It's going to sound really nerdy.
I mean, have you been in this conversation?
I really like wrestling. Right.
Ah, nerd.
And I have for like a long time. I don't know what it is. It's so proper with people punches. Like it's just, I don't know why that I like it so much. I just do. And wrestling for a long time has kind of sucked since like there was I don't want to say like, because there's been pockets of good stuff like NXT which is WWE's third brand behind Raw and SmackDown, which was their developmental territory. When Triple H took it over, he hired a lot of stellar indie talent, almost cleaned out the indies, which was a problem because that took away a lot of that and really hurt those companies quite badly. But that was a shining beacon for a small while. New Japan Pro Wrestling was a shining beacon for a small while, but then different things have happened, blah, blah, blah. But this year is the second year of All Elite Wrestling, which is the new company by Jacksonville Jaguars owner Tony Khan, in association with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and a selection of people who have either not been to WWE and made their name in Japan, or have been in WWE, left and done other things, blah, blah, blah. But either way, it is just nice to have a company which is pretty solid in terms of their output. There's very, very few flaws in it, and it's been a very entertaining year. Hangman Page's storyline, who's now their world champion, his storyline this year has been incredible, of him kind of like not believing in himself and coming back and blah, 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 blah. It's been very well crafted and very good, and it's just been thoroughly enjoyable to watch. And they got CM Punk to return to wrestling. So that's the most important thing, because CM Punk is back in a ring and back on my TV, making me happy. So
that's the beautiful thing of mine's niche interest in wrestling.
Yep.
CM Punk. Who's CM Punk?
See, I know who CM Punk is, but I don't follow wrestling, but I mainly know who he is through you. Like, you know, it's like one of those gradual things of gaining information about like a random topic, the same way I do with anime from these two. It's just, here's some extra information about some show about some guy who cooks food and makes people weirdly satisfied when he makes food.
Food Wars. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Food Wars.
No, I did watch a little bit of it, and I was like,
that's the exact reaction I had. I was like,
yeah.
It gets better. It gets more about the food.
Yeah, I think like it's the kind of like just jumping off the back of like the mention of indie stuff and like that. It has been just that time of 2021 was the time of just rebuilding industries, and industries just taking a few risks and bringing stuff to different audiences and making things more representational. So yeah, I think it's agreeably a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think so. And like not just all Elite Wrestling, not just all AEW, GCW's gone from strength to strength this year. And it's like they started their life pretty much as a deathmatch promotion, doing kind of stunty, garbagey stuff, and they've got stronger and stronger and stronger. And there's different stuff, like you look up Zack Ryder and or Matt Cardona, and when he got fired from the WWE, he goes, well, I say fired, he just got let go. Like, well, no use for any anymore, kind of thing. He was this white meat babyface kind of boy from, with spiked hair and like purple trunks, and he decided instead of just going anywhere and just being a generic person, he was like, no, cool, well, I'm going to go to GCW, mix it up with those guys, and prove myself as like someone who knows what they're doing, and play to the fact that I'm this corporate creation, and use that as a character, and it just played out so well.
Just brought us all in. Brett, if CM Punk's not on your list, are we about to be extremely disappointed?
He's not, no.
Oh, well, that's
Sorry.
it. That's a bad end.
Shoot that down. I'm sorry.
Go on, Brett. What was good about 2021?
It's been fucking chill, you know.
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
Is this the only thing on your list?
Oh no. No, just I think it's done some like lockdown and like being like required to stay inside. Just why don't you just take a deep breath and just take a step back and just chill the fuck out? Like make time for the little things, isn't it?
Bit of reflection time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More just taking in the moment.
Yeah.
Good. Really enjoyed it.
We did lots of like, sorry, if people don't know, me and Brett together.
Gross.
Obviously, we bought a house together. I've just said that. But we did lots of like, because obviously lockdown and stuff, we couldn't go places all the time. Is that we would just like take the moments like, right, we're gonna go for a walk and we're gonna do like stupid games on the walk, or we're gonna like search for like, we've moved near a nature reserve. And it's like, oh, we're specifically gonna look for like these kinds of like birds or whatever, which is something that we would never have done before. Like, and just living a bit more in the moment, and like, you know, when we saw games and stuff, we've been like, oh, we've always wanted to try that. We've been like, right, we'll make time and try it.
Yeah, just do it. Like,
I've been trying to do that a bit this year. Just kind of like, well, I want to do it, so I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've got several bits of anxiety and things to work through, which stops me doing quite a few things. But like one of my goals for 2022 is to finally start my YouTube channel, and finally get that sorted. I've been talking about it for 3 or 4 years, and it's just like, no, I just need to pull my finger out my ass and just get over myself and get on with it.
I mean, if you want to do obscure podcast, I feel like I've already got that covered for our family. But yeah.
Oh my god! Next year, you said you want to shake up a bit. Why don't you do a podcast with mum and dad?
I mean, is that a conversation we want recorded?
I don't know.
Like, then pick a topic. Moving on from our own family issues, Brett. What else is on your list?
Quickly, what's on your list, Brett?
Instagram Reels.
Instagram Reels.
As a positive
That is such
thing,
an
Brett.
Obscure thing.
That's it. I'm coming to Lincoln.
No, let me explain rather than just like let me just explain rather than just like be like, oh, Instagram. I like seeing like 15-year-olds with more money than I'll ever make in my life, just being like, oh, here's a burger I like. Oh, he's actually gone. Okay.
Anyway, go Reels.
So
I was gonna drink.
a lot of it is just dumb shit. Stuff in like watching, like I say, like just fucking people dancing and all this kind of shit. Just dumb, like I guess they're kind of like meme videos, but just funny shit. Like just watching loads like this year and just, I guess it kind of comes back to just chilling out, you know, just funny.
Well, you are very chill focused. You are very meme focused as well as like as a person and as a couple. So I guess Reels does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be like, we're not going to get super personal, but like there's a lot of like not great shit that we know about, or people that we know about, or like things going on in our lives, that when you have the whole chilling out aspect, doing the like stupid games, going outside, being like together just as a couple, and things like memes, like we don't watch, when we talk about Instagram Reels and stuff, we don't watch the stuff that takes a piss out of other people or that's really negative. Like, we don't watch all the gym reels that are like, oh, to get in shape, you have to do. We're watching all like the positive, fun ones, the jokes, the laughter, like the blooper type aspect.
It's essentially you've been framed on a phone. That's essentially what we watch. Just like dumb, stupid, like either jokes, animals.
Oh, animals, a lot of animals.
It's that kind of stuff.
That's usually the ones I get sent. I get sent a lot of kind of like animal stuff. I'm just kind of like, oh, there's a bear doing a thing. Oh,
well, it's
like,
lovely.
Allowed us to get some banging tunes for our playlist as well, because some of the music people use on it is sick.
Yeah, I'd say that was something that's positive from mine and Brett's here. Music. We've like explored a lot of different music. Like our Spotify Wrapped was like the amount of genres apparently we've listened to like this year. It's
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that again that plays back into the whole kind of like Indian content and everything. It's like there's been a lot more time to explore content and see stuff, and you'll have had more time to yourself to just kind of sit down with stuff and go, okay, we're enjoying this, and then going, all right, well, I'm going to look up this song and whatnot. Whereas 2 years ago, we'd have seen it and moved on from it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's there and it's there again and keeps going, keeps bouncing back, coming through. I think that's fair. I don't 100% agree with it, but yeah.
What, agree with Instagram Reels or?
Yeah.
Oh,
but that's mainly from a creator.
I don't 100% agree with Brett's positives. I was like,
no. I just mean
positives.
The angle of like being a creator and having to make reels and pander to the audience because that's the only way I can get my work out there now. But otherwise, yeah.
Got to move with the times, isn't it?
I hate the times.
Yeah, terrible people.
Speaking of things we hate, Martyn, what's your negative? Bring us down.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
2 seconds? You've had a whole hour.
Sorry,
are we meant to bring in a negative
one?
No. Because I do have a negative one to bring.
I mean, I also have a negative if you want to do some negatives.
We got
not like loads.
I got an end point, so we can bring this down with negatives and we'll bring this out.
I've got one. Obviously, I work in the hospitality industry. We mentioned that before. Coming out of, it was particularly bad last summer when we first unlocked, and then this year there's been a bit of a kind of continuation with it. Coming out of lockdown, it's like there's a lot of people who seem to have just forgotten how to behave around other people and in public, and like we've got staffing issues across the board at the moment. Trying to get a chef is hard work. Trying to hire bartenders is hard work. Like, a lot of people left the industry because it is hard work. It's a hard industry to work. I mean, I technically don't work in the industry as like front line in any way, shape or form, I work in marketing, so it's different. But when I used to do it, and I did get to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. When I got to 30, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to do something different because being on this front line is hard work. And a lot of people took the opportunity during lockdown to basically dip. So finding people to come up and not having that buffer zone for them as well at 18 to come in and be like in a busy bar with a bunch of experienced people, and they kind of just learn and grow, and then by the time they hit 20 they're good to go and they're solid. We haven't had a lot of that, and yeah, we've had issues, and again, the industry's not perfect. The pay's crap, the hours are terrible. It's a high pressure thing, and a lot of that needs to change across our industry massively. But there's a lot of customers out there who really, really forgot how to behave coming out of lockdown. I'm not saying, do exactly what we say, sit down, shut up kind of thing, but it's just kind of like, we had stock issues for a long period of time. Long period of time. There's several big suppliers in the UK who bring stuff in and shift it out. You don't buy direct from each individual brand, and they were having issues galore. Like we had sometimes when like our house gin changed 5 times in 3 weeks because that we just couldn't get the stock. You couldn't get the gin that you usually use, so it had to change to something else. Or this particular ingredient in a cocktail had to change because Midori wasn't available for the longest period of time. You just couldn't get it in the UK. We struggled to get Kahlua for a while. We still struggled to get like different beers and things like this. And then sometimes your delivery would turn up and it'd be a third of what you ordered and then you hit panic stations and go, well, what do I even do now? And we have to sit there explain to customers, no, we don't have any bottles of Prosecco. Why?
Yeah.
Coronavirus, Brexit, like, I mean, what other reasons do you want? Like, there's a lot of them, and it's like, it was hard, like really hard work of people just, and especially when it comes to like, can you put a mask on, please? Can you put a mask on, please? Can you put, when there's these things, and like, it's just like, right, this isn't us, right? Like, I mean, we agree with it. We agree we should wear a mask, and the guidelines are the guidelines, and it is what it is. But like, you're shouting at us, and it's like, we're not asking you to put a mask on because for our own health. Obviously, it would be easier if you just either did or didn't and just left. And like, we don't want this confrontation, but the money you spend here is not worth the fines we get for not following these guidelines. Sorry, it's groups of 6 only. Don't try and book for a 30 and turn up. Like, it's just not a thing.
It's such a strange thing because it's like, it's kind of the counterbalance to Brett's positive point of what lockdown and all those kinds of things cause. Like, obviously we spend, as people, we're fairly relaxed when we're on our own. We're good at doing that, and we learn to chill and we learn to appreciate the smaller parts. But for a lot of people on the other side, it was a case of they felt like they'd put their lives on hold. So when they re-entered society, they expected you all to hit the ground running at the same pace, forgetting that you'd all been doing exactly the same thing and going to face all these issues getting things back on the roll. And they kind of came out and went like, no, we should be going full tilt all the time. And I've spent a year alone, and this is how I behave when I'm alone, because I haven't been around people in any way, shape, or form to remember that and remind me that actually there's rules to social, even though they may be unwritten rules, that there's rules to being a person and being in a crowd and all that kind of thing. And I can completely agree that people have been shitty coming out of things. That's happened, and they should be better coming into 2022.
Yeah, I mean, it's just direct your hate in the right place.
Yeah, that too. A lot of frustration, which is just angled at people who happen to
Can
be
I
on front
now
line.
Can I now come in with this, because this perfectly follows on
Go for
this?
Go.
People being absolute shitlords on social media. Like, Facebook has actually become such a negative in my life that I don't use it unless I have to now. Because and they've, it's been proven, and that's obviously what a lot of like people have said, is that like a lot of anti-vax shit has come from Facebook and Facebook scientists and people thinking that they know more than experts, and Karen saying, sorry Karens out there if you like, I'm not saying that you are all shitlords, but Karen's fucking saying like, oh, well, my friend, or fucking Nicki Minaj, my cousin's friend's balls got massive because he took the vaccine. Well, no, he's got a sexually transmitted disease because he's sleeping with lots of people. Stop spreading shit on social media. Like, it's just such a negative place. Like, Facebook recently asked me to commit to do a survey, and it was like, oh, what would you say? Would you say Facebook's an overall positive experience? And I'm like, no. I always exclusively use Instagram now because I know you own it, but I use WhatsApp and Instagram because there's less of this shit on it.
Yeah. I always say that's always a balance of like, yeah, Facebook own Instagram, but Instagram is mainly pictures. Like it's harder to spread misinformation via Instagram because it's just like, yeah, you can't link through to some clickbaity title. You can just show me a picture and I can ignore a picture. I won't be riled up.
And a lot of the arguments happen in the comments, which aren't visible straight away.
Yeah.
You have to like literally go sifting through them.
Yeah.
Dig for it.
And there's not a lot of like sharing on outside of stories. Really, you don't really share things in. It's like I find Twitter to be a horribly negative place.
Twitter, I don't even touch, but yeah.
But it is relatively easy to curate your feed on there. And Instagram is like if you don't want to see something on Instagram, you can pretty much avoid it for the most part. Like if I only wanted to follow you three, that's all I'm seeing. And that's it. Like, and there is a large part. If I don't hit the explore tab, then that is a large part of that. There's not a lot of kind of like, oh, you might like this, outside of a few adverts and the occasional recommendation. Not like Facebook, which is like, yeah, just horrendous for that kind of thing. Horrendous. Oh, so and so commented on this thing. Oh my god,
it's such and such knows such and such, and they've liked this thing, which has come from here. Whereas like Instagram is, as you say, it's who you follow unless you click explore. So you're not getting this deluge of outside influences just dropped into your feed. Which
typically,
yeah.
Which
is, I get that's my struggle with Reels, because Reels you kind of go into it and it is uncurated. It is just like
It's why I don't use TikTok, because I haven't found anyone on TikTok to follow that would help curate the things that I might like on there.
Yeah, TikTok just scares me.
I mean, we had a friend that basically went off social media not long after coronavirus happened because he just said that there was so many. He was honest, he said he just went mental because there was so many different conspiracy theories about COVID, about vaccines, about not vaccines, about that he was like, I didn't know what to think anymore.
Yeah.
And it was getting to the point where I was constantly questioning my own opinions about things because I was seeing like all this new stuff and all this stuff being presented to me that he just left social media. And he was like, it's been the best 2 years of my life. It's been the best 2 years of my life.
Which brings us to Brett. Unless you got a point back.
I was going to say, one more thing, just to go back to the customer thing, is this echoes back. Like we made the joke in the office kind of like last year where it was just like, what settings do these people have on their phones where they don't know that there's a rule of 6? Because the amount of people just call up and like, yeah, I need to book for 10 people. It's like, nope, can't do it. Why? Rule of 6, what's that? You're like, what setting do you have on your phone where you're not seeing this?
What have you blocked, which has forced you to not see this information, which is national information? Which is
national news and national information. It's like, what news are you seeing? Because this is crazy to me that you've not seen these new instructions. Like when we went down the tiers over and over and over again at different times, and it was just like, what information are you seeing? Where you like, what are you? I don't get how you're not seeing this information, because obviously I'm in my bubble which sees this information. But yeah. So I get that.
It's a strange place to be in, the bubble system of social media. Rick, what do you hate?
People.
I like that it's all people.
Yeah,
like
it's all
a
fucking
trend
people.
here.
No, like I guess a thing that I realised, I guess not realised, but come to just feel more strongly this year is just let people be fucking happy, do what they want to do. Like, so many people are saying when you sort of like mention you like something or you do something, like, oh great. It's just like, don't be a dick, all right? Don't ridicule people for interests, how they feel or anything. Just let them fucking be happy.
Leave people
Can't be doing with all this shit.
I mean, we were talking about. No, I was gonna say, me and you were talking about the LGBT plus community, weren't we?
Yeah.
Saying like how they don't hurt people, so why do people constantly want to try and hurt them?
Yeah, they don't ask for much, and then people come down on them like with full force as well, which is this. That's the thing which I always find weird about that. Is like they're not really asking for much when you consider it in a world scale. It's like they just want to be treated like people, and people are like, no, fuck you.
Can't do that.
What?
No, you can't.
I want to be able to leave my house. No, the hell with you.
It's just that basic human. It's that basic human tenet of like everyone should be free to do whatever they like at all times, unless that thing affects someone else's ability to do the same.
Yeah. Or wait, what do you always say, Brett? What's the thing you say?
Oh, I always was. So I don't care what you're into or what you want to fuck. As long as everyone's happy, it doesn't hurt anyone, and it's not illegal. Like, just that's pretty much it. Like, just be you. As long as
And let other
you're not going out.
let other people be them. Like,
And even then, if it is illegal, as long as it's not hurting anyone, it's generally not a problem.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things that are illegal that probably shouldn't need to be illegal.
oh yeah, no, I mean we won't go into things now. So yeah, I'm talking about things that like hurt people. Like,
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. You got
like paedophiles and just like Maxwell,
pedos.
Prince Andrew, that kind of thing.
Prince Andrew, those kind of people.
Big thing is just I hate just when like there's a joke. I'm not sure if I told Graham this before. There's like a stupid like meme pic, which was like, girls, if a guy takes you back and he's got 2 monitors and a light up keyboard, ditch his ass. And it's like, oh no, this guy's got interests. Better fucking get rid of him.
So this guy can afford a decent setup. It's just like, no,
Graham, he's not into football and going to the gym. Like, right? Ditch his ass. Oh, I can't be done with it.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on it earlier. I think 2020 was a dark time. It was like a change year. It was a year where nothing really happened and all we had was the negative. Whereas 2021, we saw a lot of change, and that brought out people again. And we've seen the positive and negatives. Like we said, we've seen the good things which we've mentioned, but at the same time, we've got that extreme of just people coming out full force of like, oh no, here's all the things which I hated, and I've not been able to talk about them for a year, and so fuck everybody, and pushing out, the overly toxic, as it were. It's the wall. I got to finish this off with the things which I enjoy, because I feel like that's the way.
Oh yeah, we haven't even done the things you enjoy.
Well, I figured it out as we were going along, because there's things you guys mentioned. So I got a few things. So in terms of content, the best thing I saw in 2021 was The Green Knight. And I went to cinema with Brett, and I thought it was fantastic.
I will Google it.
It restored my faith in cinema, because I watched it and I was like, this is actually engaging and made for people like me and not just some action flick. And I was like, I enjoy this. And so The Green Knight was my shout out. Also, memes kind of came into it, but more just in terms of the longevity of fun we can get out of something extremely simple.
Yes, I respect that. I think that's why I like memes. Because they're simple.
It's like, I know memes are a thing, and I know they're like a long thing. I mean, like Rick Roll's been going for decades now, but I was just watching like the Suez Canal thing. Like, it shouldn't have been as funny as it was. And it just came out, and then like literally every week I'd be flicking through and be like, there's a new meme about Suez Canal. That's funny. Or there's a new Bernie. Bernie's on the Suez Canal. I don't know why that's funny.
That's very much one of the things I have enjoyed over the last couple of years. It's I in quite a few Simpsons bot posting, shit posting groups, and like me and my friend Kieran, we just get such a laugh out of when something happens and how it's just adapted into all these situations, and you're just like,
it reminds you of what we can do. Because I think as well, like as our generation, we've like me and mine have always had the thing of like, when we look at older comedy things, we don't necessarily like Fawlty Towers. Like I know mine hates Fawlty Towers, and it's like one of those things.
Hate it. It's just not because everyone says it is.
It's just there, and it's like one of those things which gets referenced a lot, and we're like, okay, it's been over referenced, and it's like we are experiencing now that thing of just like, we get longevity out of everything. We grab hold of everything, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna beat this to death until it's like not funny anymore. But I enjoyed that. I thought that was good. We're showing our creativity as a species, which I enjoy.
Luckily, because these things can't genuinely be co-opted by a corporation in an organic way, because they don't get it. And it takes about 6 weeks to get a Facebook post approved at like a big company anyway. So it's
more organic and natural for us to do it.
By the time they get to it, it's dead.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's like your dad walking in and making a reference to your favorite band. You're like, mate, that was 2 weeks ago. Moved on. Got a new band.
My favorite one with the Suez Canal thing was putting loads of like the woo faces on and being like, "Step bro, I'm stuck."
I mean, that's
too many.
Step bro.
There's that, and then it's like there was that one, and the Riley Reid. Oh my god, I'm gonna come, like kind of face thing,
just,
like which gets just put into everything at the moment. And he's just kind of like, sweet,
fine,
it's just whatever.
It's been beautiful to see where we're at. And I think like my final kind of positive thing. Like, it kind of comes over what you guys have been saying, is like, because we've had this essentially a hard reset of everything, it's been given us time to stand back and look at things and say, okay, this is what we want and this is what we don't want. And the main thing I've enjoyed out of 2021 is just watching things get shitter and watching people actually change things. It's like, I'm a firm believer in things like things have to get worse before people recognize and stand up and do things. And I think we got to that point in 2021. It's like when you watch all these strike action, which is happening, and you watch all like the resignations, I'm like, yes, we finally got to that point. And it's been great to watch, because now that people have an example of it, they can follow on and do it again and again, which is, we hadn't had that. We hadn't had that for ages, of people just being in Western society and making a large physical change. And I think
that's what
great.
I meant by people not conforming. People
Yeah.
finally being like, no, I live in North Shropshire and I'm not going to vote Tory. Fuck you. Like that kind of attitude.
It's a change in comfort. And I think people finally got to a point where even those most comfortable were made uncomfortable. And that was important to happen. And I think that's that
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Baby steps have been taken.
It's
stuff
baby
like
steps.
the anti-work movement and
Yeah.
the stuff they were doing to Kellogg's and things like that. Like that was a nice step forward. Unfortunately, because of the way wages haven't risen, but inflation has and costs have, and all these kind of things, and capitalism's been left to run rampant since the early 70s, and blah 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 blah. We're quickly approaching a point now, and it worries me that it doesn't pay to work, because you end up at a net zero at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You might as well at some point just not work, because, well, I'm already poor and hungry and tired. Well, I might as well not work. And that goes one of two ways: either huge amounts of depression and poverty, or it goes into a huge rebellion.
Yeah.
And
which one is better? We don't know yet.
But unless wages start to rise soon, it's going to be it's going to be a big problem in the next, I would say, five years or so. Yeah. But I am looking forward to the apocalypse. I am looking forward to forming a Mad Max style gang with you.
I can't drive. Just so you know, like I can't drive in games. I'm not very good at driving in real life. So
I mean, Martyn can't drive in real life, so we're
we'll have swords.
Yeah, can we have swords instead, please? I'm okay at firing a shotgun. That's a weird talent of mine. So yeah, I'll have the sawn off in this. Brett's quite good at driving. I vote him to be driving if we're gonna have a Mad Max style squad.
Yeah, fine. We will roam the countryside and stamp some people up.
Yeah,
provide radio coverage for the nation. That's what.
Oh yeah, actually that'd be sick. We'd be like pirate radio.
I'll just be like pirate radio. That's my only goal for the apocalypse. Force my musical taste on everyone by dominating a radio station.
Can we have really edgy kind of like nicknames that you kind of get in post-apocalyptic games and things with these things, like M Dog, like M Dog coming at you with the latest news from the wasteland, that kind of thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Everyone's called something dog, so that's just something dog.
I'll be named after a weapon or something, like the machete or something. It's like, we go machete, and then like, okay,
big knife.
Big knife.
Big knife.
Yeah.
Big knife. I vote big knife. Big knife is mine.
We have big dreams in this podcast. I think it's about time to round this out. I do have one final question though, which I'm planning on ending episodes this year with, which I'm bringing to you guys unprepared. So we'll see how this plays out. I want you to suggest someone I should get on the show. Anyone, big, small, doesn't matter. Who do you think should bring a topic to Yelling at Concrete? And I will try and find them. Look at your silent faces. Look at you thinking so hard. That is my thought for the year.
Think of
I know somebody. Do you want an answer now? Because I've got an answer.
Bring it.
Yeah, there's a boy I know called Kai Valentine, and he does a radio show. He does a radio show on a local radio station in Sunderland, and I went to uni with him, and he's really good. And I think you should get him. He's very talented and he's very cool.
Alrighty.
And me and Brett always make a joke about his name because he sounds like he should be a vampire hunter.
He sounds like he should be an anime. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. We always joke, but yeah. Kai Valentine, vampire hunter. But yeah, Kai Valentine.
Kai Valentine. Martyn, you look like you had a face.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I could try and get CM Punk.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Good luck.
Too big.
trying to think, like locally, I don't really know that many kind of like arty people or
You
creative
don't need to
people.
be local. Go big. Go big or go home. I'll message CM Punk.
No, tell you who you should message. Danhausen.
Don't have.
Who?
He's very nice and very evil. It's Danhausen.
Who's that? What?
Just Google Danhausen.
Just do Google Dan Housen. You'll get it, Charlotte.
Danhausen. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need him.
His character is he's very nice and very evil,
Very nice
and he uses the word Hausen like if he's eating food, it's Foodhausen.
Fußhausen. Fußhausen.
He's currently injured. He currently has a broken leg and he's in recovery. So
That's perfect.
Now might be your right time to try and drag him onto your podcast.
I'll try and find out. But on that note, yeah, I'll take those suggestions.
Whoa.
Unless Brett's got one.
There's a Brett right there.
I assumed you just want Kai Valentine.
Brett doesn't really know. Kai Valentine.
I don't really know many people.
This is true. You've been in your house chilling.
On your podcast, Macaulay Culkin. So what he's been up to in the last year.
Okay, all right. I have no filter.
I feel like we ramped up quite well there. Charlotte's like, yeah, let's get my friend.
My buddy, Kai Valentine.
My Kai. I'm like, well, who's this indie wrestler? And then Brett's like, Macaulay Culkin.
If I email all three of those and I get a reply from Macaulay Culkin, minds will be blown. But on that note, thank you for coming, guys. It's been lovely to catch up with you all.
It's real, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah, we've chatted right through. I think we've gone over an hour and 20, I think, on this time. We've rolled it through. Well, no, we'll roll this out unless you guys have any last notes for 2021.
Thanks for having us, Graham. I know you want to go with Martyn. It's like we're family now.
Woo! You got me Christmas gifts.
I know.
Counts.
You accepted them as well, so that's it. Friends forevermore.
And that whiskey's
Exactly.
almost gone. So.
Wow.
I'm in a house on my own. It's going to happen.
Is yours
I've not
almost gone,
opened-
Martyn?
No, I haven't opened it yet.
Okay.
I mean, like I've got 3 different bottles open at the moment, so it's one of those where it'll be. Eventually, we'll get to it.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Graham.
You're welcome. I don't know.
All
We'll
good.
talk to these guys later. Thanks very much. Bye.
Woo.
Bye.
Bye.